Hello and welcome to the Circuit to Barcelona, Catalonia, and welcome to the first ever episode of the Williams warm-up. This year, as we travel across the globe for 23 thrilling F1 races, we want to take you guys behind the scenes to see everything that goes on at Williams Racing. So today, as we get ready for the pre-season track session in Barcelona, we're going to be speaking to our aerodynamics team about aero rakes and what the purpose of them is. We're also going to be speaking to our creative team to discuss the amazing livery that you guys saw at the launch and that we'll be racing with for 2022. And now we've got a special surprise as we introduce you to our racing drivers, Alex Albon and Nicholas Latifi. So let's go speak to them. So, hey guys, we're now joined by our racing drivers, Alex Albon, new to the team this year, and Nicholas Latifi, who's in his third year with the team. You guys were teammates a couple of years ago in Formula 2, so we thought we'd see how much you guys remember about being with each other and working with each other back then. So, Alex, let's start with you. A little bit of a quiz, a little bit of like reacquainting you guys together.
But how do you know the answer?
Well, because I know you better than anybody, being in the comms team. We have to know all your darkest secrets. Alex, the first question to you, are you a cat or a dog person?
How many cats do you have? I think the audience needs to know.
This is not good that Alex doesn't know how many cats he's got. I don't think you're a very good owner at this point.
7 or 8 cats, a dog as well. So you would think I'm a cat person, but I am really, I'm a man of all animals.
They all have very
Dr. Doolittle.
Yeah, I'm Dr. Doolittle.
They all have very interesting names too, all after clothing designers or brands.
Can you name them?
I know there's an Armani. There's a Hugo. Is there a Prada?
There is a Prada.
There is a Prada, okay. I know there's one that's called Moo, but
that is Armani.
That's Armani, okay, so I kind of get extra points there. Because I know two names.
You either know Alex really, really well, or you're just very good at fashion.
So you don't have a Louis, do you? I knew there was a Gucci.
Charles, do you know any of Alex's cats' names? Any of Alex's cats, do you know their names?
He's not a real fan. He's not a fan. He's not a fan.
See, that's why he's not at Williams. And Nikki, you've got a number of dogs or a dog?
My family has 2 dogs, both golden doodles. One is Simba.
Golden doodles?
They look like teddy bears. They look little teddy bears. So one's named Simba, like the lion, and one is, it's more my little sister's dog, Kenzo.
Well, moving away, clearly we've established you're both animal lovers, but what's the one thing that if you wake up in the morning, you're like, look, I've got to have this to have a good day?
Well, I was going to say breakfast in general. It doesn't have to be one thing in particular. I'm sure everyone's going to say, oh, I know what he's going to say. Nutella, but breakfast in general. I mean, me, whenever I don't eat within like half hour of waking up, it's bad. It's not ideal.
You get hangry.
I get hangry. Yeah.
I thought this was going to be a pretty succinct answer.
No. Well, I'm
you're a complicated person.
Letting the people know more about me. But yeah, I like to have breakfast.
Everyone has breakfast.
not everybody. I was thinking like people do intermittent fasting now. You know.
I'm doing that. It's turned into Weight Watchers. I'm going to lose half a kilo.
Do you want to do a program together? Because I could probably lose a bit more than a kilo. The Biggest Loser, is that the show? Yeah. Nikki, we'll get Patrick and Dan, their trainers, to put us through our pace.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well that's episode 2 of the Williams warm-ups.
Controversial, but absolutely nothing.
You could have got some good brownie points there instead of call with my girlfriend or something, but
that's inevitable.
But he didn't say that, Lily.
So we know you're obviously a very laid-back guy then, but what makes you really, really angry?
You know, I guess it's pet peeves.
Yeah, what's your biggest pet peeve?
Last minute changes. You know, like when you got like something planned and it's like marketing.
Okay, guys.
By the way,
we're going to do a Williams warm-up.
Yeah. We're doing a 5-minute Q&A thing,
and it's taken 10 minutes
because Nikki's answers are so long.
Not my fault. You have so many cats. I have to think about the names of all the cats. No. So for me, one of my biggest pet peeves is punctuality, but like people who are late. Like if you're not early, if you're not 5 minutes early, you're late type thing.
And this will be an interesting dynamic through the year with Alex dragging his feet, Nikki pushing to do marketing.
I'm in bed, FaceTiming my girlfriend. Nikki's at the track.
Where are crying, asking for breakfast. Well, thank you guys for joining us on the first episode of Williams Warm-Up, and I'm sure we'll see you again on future episodes. So for now, thanks very much. So we hope you enjoyed that chat with Nikki and Alex, and if you want to keep up to date with all things Williams this year, then make sure you sign up and get your driver card at williamsf1.com or download on the Williams app. So next up, we're at Barcelona. We're here for the first F1 track session, and you've now seen the incredible FW44. And we wanted to take you behind the scenes on the journey to that livery design. So now we're going to speak to Ed Scott, Head of Creative Design, to tell you all about that process. So Ed, thanks for joining us on the Williams warm-up. As Head of Creative Design at Williams, just tell us how you came up with the concept of this amazing livery that sits on the FW44.
The way that we've come up with the concept for our shiny new livery has all been part of an evolution process which has evolved from the new brand that we've implemented at Williams. The way the journey that has taken has been quite a detailed one. Started way back at the beginning of last year. Yeah, essentially we've worked very closely with the senior boards, the wider Williams team and our partners to create the concept that you now see on track.
So people see launch content, they see it out on track in photography and video, and maybe they think it's, you know, some guy sat there drawing it and then put it on the car and it goes. But you know, how you said it's at the start of last year, so how many different designs, how many different rounds of feedback do you go through to get to that final version?
Well, yeah, I'd just like to say I wish it was as simple as just drawing a concept that we like and putting it onto a car, but it is very much an evolution and development process that entails so many details and touch points, from what the partners want, what the brand, the Williams brand direction is for the year, as well as all of the engineering and production touch points that we have to address. So yeah, it's not a simple process. It's very complex, and yeah, it's to get to where where we are now has involved from drawings that you would typically have, like pen and paper drawings, onto the computer and onto CAD, working with paint shops and working with senior engineers and aero teams and alike, just so we can craft and get the livery to work in its most optimum form.
Sure. And we've, you know, in the best TV show way, we've now got part of the side pod that you can kind of show to the fans out there.
It's upside down.
Talk us through. It is upside. There we go.
There it is.
So talk us through, because one thing that might stand out to fans is this diamond pattern. Let's call it that, and obviously the W. So talk us through the diamond pattern and how this ended up.
Okay, so the diamond pattern is part of our new branding, and it's built into the fabric of the Williams brand. And essentially, it's been an evolution of a few different touch points within the original brand, so taking the angles from the W, but the diamond pattern actually has historical context with premium and luxury sentiments throughout of human history. So essentially we've taken what is the angles from the W to build this new added element to the brand that we can then feed into content, which be it livery, your trucks that you've got here, anything with the Williams brand, and it just adds that extra depth. And yeah, it was key for us to get this on the car and to really sort of advertise it and push it through the branding that you see on the car. It's also a really handy, nice. I don't like that word, nice. It's a very sophisticated.
There we go.
Element that we can have, because also it's flexible, so we can. As we evolve through the year or into next year, and when we get new sponsors, we can actually move those angles and tweak stuff to add value with high contrasting branding areas. And obviously, liveries at the end of the day are not just selling our brand, they're selling the partners, and there's a high value real estate across the whole of the car. So it really adds to that and helps us with our commercial landscape. So yeah, and for us, we think it looks fantastic. I don't know about you, but it really does stand out well on the car.
Well, you know that I think it looks fantastic, and we've been sharing on that launch day over WhatsApp. We want you to see it on Reddit, on our WilliamsF1.com, all our social channels as well. Some of those comments, people saying this is stunning, best livery that they've seen. Well, how proud do you feel as the guy that's kind of brought all these elements together? How proud do you feel when you see this?
Yeah, I feel. I always feel really proud when I see those comments. It's very humbling to see them, and this year's been a very different year for us, where we've been able to actually really push our own brand and work on something very, that word that gets thrown about a lot, fresh. So we've been able to create something very fresh and new that's very Williams and very us. So it's had more of us put into it than what it would have done potentially on other projects. So for that to then go down and work well and the fans actually enjoy it and like it has been very, very satisfying, should we say. And, yeah, we love it. So I'm glad that, I'm just glad that everyone's liked it as much as we do.
Good stuff, and we hope we get the same feedback next year when we do the 2023 livery.
Yeah, fingers crossed. So yeah, hopefully we're developing that as of from now. So it's going to be another exciting process that we've got to go through. So yeah, hopefully next year we'll be as successful.
Awesome. Well, Ed, thanks very much for joining us on the Williams warm-up. And if you've got any feedback that you want to give to Ed about what the livery for next year should look like, leave it on.
Please don't.
Not on Ed's channels, on the Williams social channels as well. And now we're going to talk to Richard Pardon, who's a photographer here at the team, who translated this incredible, stunning livery into the amazing launch content that you've seen. So let's speak to Rich. So Rich, welcome to the Williams warm-up. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks yourself.
Yeah, not too bad, thanks, mate. So we've seen the launch of the FW44 back in the UK last week, and you were the amazing photographer that shot those, what many of our fans actually thought were renders. So that whole concept to launch the FW44, just talk to us how that came about.
I think when you launch something new, obviously the go-to thing is to have it in a studio. So you can show the car in all its glory, but obviously like a studio is quite removed, it's quite sterile. You don't get a sense of scale, and it doesn't look real, which obviously where the render element comes in, I guess. So to have something in a real environment, and RAF Bentwaters has this amazing exhaust tunnel, which looks a bit like a wind tunnel, so it kind of fits with the car in a way. And then throwing a human element into it as well, you get an idea of, like a story, so he's about to jump in, or you get a sense of scale. It brings it, hopefully, a bit more alive, so that was the idea.
How much time goes into not only the planning of the shoot, but the execution of the shoot? Because we see 6 or 7 amazing images, but how much time goes into creating those select images?
Unfortunately, a lot more than you think. The planning stage, not so much, I don't think, because obviously we have an idea and we run with it, and on the day you go with what you think works. You obviously have a shot list to work to, but you've got a bit of freedom to work with. But then actually shooting it as well, I mean, we have all these lights and we move them around to highlight bits of the car, to show off the curves and the design of the car and the livery. So each picture probably takes half an hour, 40 minutes to do. And obviously then you've got to move the car. The F1 cars don't steer very well, but they don't move fast. So, and the post side of it as well, I mean, I don't want to say it, but like 3 days. So obviously to stick them all together and like clean everything up, make it look nice. So yeah, a lot longer than you think.
Well, talk to us about the post element of this, because again, most people at home might sit there and go, you set the picture up, it looks great, you take the photo, but what do you do in post, and what are the things you're looking for to make them clean, sharp, and really pop?
I think what you just said, clean. I mean, I love images that are clean and not distracting. So when you look at an image, your eye goes towards the subject. So to have whether it's like little dirt and debris on the floor, you might clean up in post, or obviously you get angles of reflection. So when the light hits the car, you'll get like a hot spot. So we end up like cloning that out, so you don't get all these annoying reflections. So again, the livery's clear, you can see it, or how it's designed and everything. So it's just a lot of sort of just tidying up, basically. I mean, the location was amazing, so that did a lot for us. The car looks amazing as well, so, and the livery. So yeah, it's just bringing it all together, really, just to make a nice, clean, sharp image.
You get some brownie points for saying the livery looks amazing there too as well. And then just finally, once the images are out there and you see the reaction from the fans, you see the comments on social media, people claiming it was a render because it looks so amazing and kind of unreal to some degree. What does that make you feel when you get on Instagram and see that?
It is amazing. Again, to be trusted to do something of this importance, obviously you only get to launch it once. So to have your stamp on it, to think of how you want to portray the car as well, and to show it in all its glory, it's a really proud moment to do it, because obviously it's the F1's got such a big fan base, and the fans are die-hard fans as well. So reading all the comments, seeing how great it looks, it means a lot. It's really good.
And then finally, we're here in Barcelona and we'll be going around the world, 23 races this year. We mentioned the livery and how incredible it looks. How excited are you to get out there and photograph it on track in all those different environments that we race in?
Absolutely. I mean, just from seeing it here in Barcelona, I did a couple of laps already. It looks amazing on track. It really stands out. The colour looks great. And then you think obviously races like Qatar and Singapore under the night lights, I think it's just gonna look amazing, really cool.
Well, thanks very much for kind of running us through what you did there and the amazing images you created. And I'm sure everyone and all our fans are looking forward to seeing more of your stunning images on our social channels and WilliamsF1.com and on the app for this year to come. So we really hope you enjoyed that insight from both Ed and Rich on the creative concept of the FW44. But we're going to move away from the livery and branding, and now we're going to see about the technical side of the car, and we're going to speak to one of our aero team who's telling us all about aero rakes as we get onto the track here in Barcelona. So welcome back to the Williams warm-up, and I'm now joined by Yannick Decret, who's head of aero performance here at Williams. Yannick, thanks for joining us on the Williams warm-up. How are you feeling?
Very good. Excited about the testing.
Yeah, for sure. It's an exciting time of year, and for you guys, you obviously this week are going to be looking at aero rakes in particular. So as a layman like me, just explain to me what an aero rake is and what we're trying to do with an aero rake on the car.
Sure. Yeah, it's very important for us. We're very busy this week. We've got a few aero rakes going on. And aero rakes, really, we call them like that because that's how they started many years ago. They were only used in wind tunnels, and it was really just a rake, so an array, a line of probes.
Yeah.
They would swipe up and down or left or right in a wind tunnel to measure the quality of the airflow on the car. So it was really just a rake. And then people started bringing those to the car, running those on the car. So we have just a line of probes going up and down, on the side of the car or behind the front tires. But now they've turned into really arrays. So many probes that it's not just a rake anymore. It's an array of probes.
Yeah.
And those help us measure the quality of the airflow in various places around the car.
Well, like all the best TV shows, here's one we made earlier. So, Yannick, we have a former design of an aero rake from many years ago. So this isn't top secret information that we're all seeing here, but can you just talk us through what we're seeing here and what we're looking at and those features that you're discussing?
Yeah, sure. So as I mentioned, this is more an array than a rake. So we have rows and rows of probes. They're called kill probes. And this will be part of a bigger rake. And all those little probes will help us measure the quality of the airflow. And knowing how good a quality of flow we have or not tells us where we are compared to all other simulation tools like the wind tunnel or the virtual wind tunnel, the CFD. So those measures tell us how well we correlate to CFD or to the wind tunnel.
Sure. And looking at this rake here is a part of a rake and is about the size of my hand. But as die-hard F1 fans will know, these rakes can be incredibly large nowadays. So what are we going to see this week in terms of size of rakes? And from your perspective, what are you looking to have on the car in terms of the number of probes and things like that?
Yeah, definitely. So they come in all shapes and sizes. We have the very small aero rakes that go into places, sometimes even under the floor, you don't see them. Just a few probes, just to measure very targeted areas, the quality of the flow. And we have much bigger rakes. You'll see them a lot in testing because testing is when we're allowed to run much bigger rakes on the car, so they can be larger than the car, which we can't do at race events. So we only do that in testing. And those big rakes, sometimes they try to measure the quality of the airflow behind the front tires. And front tires, obviously, they move a lot as you steer, so you need a big area to capture all that area, that area behind the tire. So you need a big rake. And those rakes come in. You can see them more than 500 probes on those rakes. Wow. Really massive.
Yeah, that's crazy. Final question to you, Yannick. We all know how competitive Formula One is, and that's on the track as we see it on a Sunday, but off track in everything we do. How competitive are you guys in your team when you get to testing and you see the rakes of other teams, and how much do you want to have the best rakes out there to get the best data you can?
So it is a bit competitive in that obviously we want to have the best tool for the job, and we're competing against all the other teams, so we try to copy their ideas, see the design they have, inspire ourselves from their designs to come up with the best tool for our job. So the best aero rake, the least intrusive aero rakes. So we do look at what's happening up and down the grid, see what other people are doing. But at the same time, we find that teams who are a bit slower have correlation issues more than others, and they'll be running more rakes to understand those correlation issues.
So let's hope we don't have too many rakes on the car this week then and moving forward. Well, thanks Yannick for your time. That's really insightful, and thanks for joining us on the Williams warm-up.
You're welcome.
So that's all we've got time for here on the Williams warm-up from Barcelona. We really hope you enjoyed episode 1 and seeing behind the scenes with the team and hearing from all our different team members. Join us in Bahrain for episode 2, where we'll be looking behind the scenes of pre-season testing there. And in the meantime, make sure you visit WilliamsF1.com or download the Williams app to stay up to date with everything about the team.